Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is Revere Sky's essence. Let's talk about it. Yes, the screen is black, so if I don't put any pictures up, you're going to be listening to me, not paying attention to me, not looking at me, listening, because your brain needs to absorb this information, okay? We're going to talk about welfare. Welfare. We all know that welfare was designed to some degree. I'm not talking about the Caucasian side of it, the people who were white-listed side of it. I'm just speaking in general. Welfare was designed for temporary relief, right? But there are certain female families that seem to can't get off of welfare. Okay? And I'm starting to realize, and I've said this before in past videos, I've said it. I've said that why on earth would a government give women access to funding but not try to teach the woman how to grow her own food, plant her own seeds? It's like, let me introduce you to this crack epidemic. That's what it's like. Let me introduce you to this free money, this free sustenance, right? Let me introduce you to me being your baby daddy. Like, that's how the government is talking, right? What good as a nation when you actually got projects, housing, women's shelters with children, all designed to just keep women afloat in a system where they're not trained to learn to be self-sustained. If they do go through training, they're trained to go get a job, to take care of their family, and to feed their family. When the cheapest and easiest way to think green is what? Grow your own food. Seasonal food. If you're a man, woman, and child, you need to be growing your own food. If you have a household of 3, you need to be growing your own food. When I was a child, all we did was play in the dirt. All we did was dig in the dirt. So you mean to tell me that you can't get you and your children to dig in the dirt? Like, this high class welfare type thing is unreal. Like, you got people on welfare that complain, like you have like these grandmas and they have these children, right? And they complain about they ain't got enough food, ain't nobody helping them. Wait a minute. Why isn't there a system training these families how to, I don't know if I'm saying the right word, subsidize? I'm not sure. But they're not training these children and these families how to grow food, how to fish, how to hunt, how to gather. Like, we don't even need welfare. And then think about it. When you think about the stuff that they purchase on welfare, it's box food. It's sugary stuff. It's snacks. It's like, if I don't have Capri Suns in my pantry, I'm not a fit parent. Like, if I don't have Hawaiian Punch in my pantry, I'm not a fit parent. If I don't have Sunny D in my pantry, I'm not a fit parent. Like, how is that possible? Like, none of this food is giving you life or energy. Like welfare need to be taken over to the preppers. Like the preppers, really. I mean, preppers. I'm gonna give you another example. I'm not shaming melanated indigenous black people, but there are quite a few more Caucasian preppers that are on welfare, that can their food, that storage their food. Not melanated indigenous Americans. No. Now, you may have the wise or the older ones that are on Social Security disability that are getting into it. But when you look at the percentage, how many is there? Like, how many is there right now? Like, 100% of the people on welfare, how many people are actually prepping and growing their own food? How many are studying the body and how the electricity levels work? How chlorophyll benefits the body? How vitamin C benefits the body? How water benefits the body? How watery vegetables, fruits and vegetables benefit the body? Like, who's studying this? Like, why aren't they studying this? You have to think about that for a minute. So if you're a family of 3, husband, wife, and child, I don't care how much money you make, you need to start a garden. I don't care if it's in pots. I don't care if it's on a balcony. I don't care if it's outdoors. I don't care if it's on a side of a road near a wood line. It needs to be started, because this money is not going to always be here. This digital currency is not going to always be here. This internet is going to be governed and controlled on a whole nother level. So you need all the information you can get. Another thing, I've mentioned this over and over and over. There was a war with the Arabs and I think Persia. I don't know. Persia went to war with somebody. Do your research. And what Persia did was they went and threw salt on those people's farmland so they could not grow food. Say it again, Revere Sky. These Persians conquered the other people. So they didn't see the benefit of growing food on their land. No, they destroyed their land because that's their culture, that's their home. They put the salt on the people who they conquered land. Then Persia started selling them produce and vegetables. That's just like being an indigenous Indian and you got these hostile takeover people come in and say, no, you can't grow this, you can't grow that. That's illegal, that's illegal. You can't own these seeds, nothing. You got to buy from us. That's ludicrous. Do you see these people running up on animals saying, you can't eat these leaves off this tree no more. You got to buy from me. No, you don't. Guess what they do? They tear down the forest. They mess up their land that the animals were using to survive, just like they did the humans. So it's like the people on welfare are making this lifestyle too comfortable. Nothing's wrong if you're moving from state to state. You probably move cross country. You temporarily need food stamps. You temporarily need cash. Nothing's wrong with that. Okay? You temporarily need housing. Now, I'm going to tell you another reason why women, it's so hard for them to get off welfare and governmental housing. Because truthfully, if you have 3 children, it's cheaper that you stay home with your children. But this is the catch. How does it benefit you to be at home with your children every day and while they're at school, right? But you're not training them to be self-sufficient. And there's nobody in the economic world out there training you to be self-sufficient. You got too much time on your hands. You need to have a garden. I'll give you an example. My brother, him and his wife has 4 children. In the process, me and my mother came to the conclusion that it was cheaper for her to stay at home and raise her children than pay a babysitter. Do you know how much fundamental achievement and success comes behind staying at home raising your children? You teach them how to cook. You teach them how to clean. You teach them how to wash their clothes. You teach them how to protect themselves. You teach them how to keep the house in order. You sit them down and go over their homework. A parent that works a 9 to 5 brain is too tired to sit down with their children and go over their homework. And they rely solely on the education system to actually train these people. What sense does that make? There are so many benefits to being on welfare, but they're not being utilized. And if they're not going to be utilized, what's the purpose? Yeah, I'm going to raise my children on welfare as long as I can. I'm going to let them monitor how much money I can put in and out of my bank account. I'm not going to go get a job under the table or a side hustle. I'm just going to sit around and let the boy down the street that sell the dime bags come and hit it and quit it. Like, really, if I had income and housing, and all I could do is twiddle my thumb and wait for my children to come home from school. I say children's, but it's children. We know. But all I have to do is wait for them to come home from school. Do you know how much I can accomplish? Paid housing, food stamps. I could study a whole degree. I could plant a garden. I could go fishing. I could go hunting. These things are very important. Another thing about the internet and stuff, when you see people socially on social media and they gravitate towards people, you have to think about something. I put up a post and I asked people to tell me how much money they make annually. Only 3 people posted. Only 3 people posted. Only 3 people checked how much money they make. You know, there's a guy in the UK that says he's homeless and he's always going through problems and with the government and stuff, and he's out on the street and he has so many problems and he's going through so much depression. Not only that, there's a lot of homeless people that follow people. Like, I lived the street life, lived out my van, lived in tents in LA. But when it was time for me to say, hey, okay, enough of this vacation, enough of the struggle, let's make some money, I made money. Okay? No children, nothing to worry about. Go make that money. It's only me having to fend for myself. What this concludes is, economically, A nation is no stronger than the food that they prepare for themselves. What did Persia do? Poison the land of the people they conquered. Poison the mind of the people that they conquered. And they got the nerve to send the Persian lime over here to the United States when our limes have had seeds all their life. They got the nerve to weasel the Persian lime into our society. They got the nerve to make the food seedless. Think about this. Think about this with health processing. They're already modifying the food. They're modifying the fruits and they're modifying the vegetables. But by you cooking your own meats, raw meats, and your own raw vegetables, you can get the best substance you can get. But once they process that meat, process them fruits and vegetables, turn it into a shelf-life food, what happens? It has preservatives, it has additives, it has flavorings and chemicals. And what do foods like this do? Conquer your vessel. You start losing the gallbladder, you start losing the appendix, you start having colon issues because the food can't be digested. You start to have schizophrenia and Alzheimer's and bipolarism. Why? Because this food is nowhere near close to God. Yeah, you may get some minerals out of canned fruits and vegetables. You may get some. But what is the price of you having to consume the other chemicals? Oh, we don't want the green beans to be brown, so we're going to add this preservative into them. We don't want the water to smell funky, so we're going to add this preservative to it. Don't you think people that can't feed themselves need to be trained how to feed themselves? A system where people are relying on the government to feed them. And guess what? The government is doing what they're supposed to do. You want to know why? They took all of your instincts and natural laws away from you. The natural law to fend and feed for yourself, they took that away from you. You almost can't fend for yourself. You got to call the police, right? Somebody acting crazy and stuff. You really don't know the law enough. Should you shoot them? Should you stab them? Should you knock them out? Or should you call the police? You don't know what to do, right? They took your natural rights from you and then gave you subsidies and then told you, gave you this big ass picture like you'll never be able to afford to take care of your own children by working. Not only that, let's say if you're incompetent and you have to get a job that does not give you 40 hours a week, and you only can do the basics, so you're going to get minimum wage, about $10 an hour, right? And 36 hours a week times 10 hours, $10 an hour is $360 a week, right? You're breaking this down. And you have children. You have 2 or 3 children. $360 a week, 9 out of 10, you put them on the taxes as dependents. So they probably only take $50 in taxes out your check, about $12 out your check. No more than about $50 out your check, right? So you got $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month. You need to pay rent. It's cheaper to be on welfare. They're going to pay for your housing. They're going to pay for your food. They're going to pay for your your health, right? But what cost is that? What cost is that? The cost of that is not being self-sufficient, being reliable and disposable. Say it again, Revere Sky. Not being self-sufficient, not being reliable, and also being disposable. Lab rats, test subjects, they have come to a conclusion that I can force, you are a person of war. You're the aftermath of a person of war. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people on welfare come from good families. That's right. A lot of people on welfare come from good families. They end up sleeping with a guy. It don't work out. You end up pregnant. The man go to jail or prison, get back out. Can't get in tune with society, so he's on food stamps. And he stays on food stamps until he decides he want to start working and making more money. And the only way he decides that he want to start working and making more money if he desires a family to some degree. Like, even if he never gets that family, what he feels is that was a goal. You get what I'm saying? He wants his own. He's tired of being consumed at the bottom. Tired of living on his mama couch. Most men that start working and start doing better for themselves, they desire sex. That's right. Just like a person who sells drugs and want money in his pocket. When he gets to that level, he desires sex. Okay? A man is controlled by his desires for sex and a family. So he know on that bummy type, even the crackhead, she not going to give it up because why? She could get $20 from a dude rolling up in a car, right? So sooner or later, this bummy type, hopping from shelter to shelter man, soon decide he wants to go to work. He wants to find a job. He wants to find a home. He wants to be out the streets. Not only does he want to be out the streets, he wants sex. He wants a partner. So yeah, a lot of women get caught up with a baby. And then their family, if they have one, turn their back on them. If they don't have a family, they automatically go into a shelter, government assistance, housing, battered. Like, you have women that will lie and say they got battered just to go into housing. But even while she's in housing, she still's not looking for that job. She's not looking for that job, okay? She's not looking for that foundation. And these right here, these type of people are the disposable lab rats. They don't know how to grow fruits and vegetables. They don't know how to fend for themselves. They're not studying the body. They're not studying nature. They're not studying economics. But they think they're beating the system when the system is nothing but a project. The system is nothing but an agenda, a program to keep you there. I'm going to hip you to something else. If they knew that you would start a garden, start studying law, studying the body, they would make sure you're not home waiting on your children to get home. when they put you in these programs and say, oh, I'm going to help you make this money and save this money to get you on your feet, right? Do you understand they put you in a situation to where you're continuing to work for them? That's just like the video that said, the Westerners said, we don't have electricity, we don't have refrigerators, we don't have washers, and you want us to buy your electricity and rent your appliances. That means we're going to be working longer and harder to please you, right? So are all these amenities that we need in our lives, are they really benefiting us? Because it seems like the more we want, the longer we're caught up in the cycle of working for it, right? Just like I said, you know what? I've been a bum long enough. I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to hustle. But at the same time, I did not motivate myself into turning my $10,000 a year business into a $20,000 a year business. I did not motivate myself to flip it to a $8,000 a month business. Now, did I? No, I did not. I went to work for people I don't even know. There needs to be some economic structure with welfare, especially the melanated indigenous woman. She needs to know how to provide for herself, can her own food, prep, everything. You have the children. You have the concept. Because there's going to be a corporation out there that put your children to work and put you to work. That's right. Say it again, Revere Sky. There's going to be a corporation out there that puts you to work and put your children to work. When in fact, you could have did it yourself. Not only that, when you look at social media, like who's really being entertained on social media, right? Free cell phones and stuff. That means that there's a lot of people that have limited income viewing these platforms. That's right. A lot of people with limited incomes, homelessness, viewing these platforms. Now, you would think as melanated indigenous beings, we would motivate them to want to do better. But some people really love manipulating the system, being lazy. It's not for a vacation or a short time, it's for a long time. So yeah, if you can just share the wisdom to these people. Back then when you had multiple children, it was to farm. It was to have a farm, to grow fruits and vegetables, to feed your family, to pay your land taxes. Now people have children and they just give them to the government. They just put them in the system. And if they're going to be in the system, you have to study and tutor them. And if you're so young or so ignorant to the point you can't study or tutor them, you're leaving them without all of the information that they need. We got to quit giving free cattle to them. We really do. We have to stop giving free cattle to them. And I'm not even going to get into signing the birth certificate, receiving the tax credits. I'm just not going to get into it.